All right. Something that's been bugging me for a long time, and perhaps it's been bugging Campbell too, is the controlled opposition, false gurus, those people that lead you down the garden path, tell you they have everything for you and are going to help you get free. A trick from all of them is there's nothing you really need to do other than to listen to them or to believe what they're saying. No hard work involved. And then at the end, you end up being led to a baño, which is a Spanish word for an outdoor toilet, and you're left holding the bag or that sort of stuff. And either way, Campbell, what do you think? Controlled op, false gurus.
Yeah, man. I mean, I started noticing this through the self-help industry back in, God, decades ago, right? I mean, I actually met a couple of people who'd been to Tony Robbins events, these big stadium events he does, and I've met probably three people like within a week of them doing this event, and you meet them, and oh my God, they're jumping up and down, and they're going to take on the world, and they're going to do this, and they're going to change everything, and oh, they're G'd up, man. And then you meet them, a month or two later, and nothing's happened, and their energy's right back out because all it is geeing people up and getting them excited, but not giving them any power because all this stuff really takes the power away from people, right? It's I've got the answer, follow me, and you'll be fine. But I think, as we know, and as we say a lot, like no one can have the answers for you. That's your job. You've got the answers for you. So there's things that you can do that you can share, like, believe yourself, go inside. What do you want? You have everything, but people love to steer that because ultimately it disempowers you and it takes you to a place where you no longer believe yourself and you think all the power's outside. And isn't that what we've all learned, by going down, whatever you want to call this conspiracy, looking at the world and that the whole structure that keeps people in the system is they look outside of themselves for answers and they believe 100% what other people tell them. It can't lead to anything good. It's just a disempowering place to be. So I'd much rather people look inside and find out that they have everything they need and they are empowered. Um, because that's it, right? Everything else is minutia, really. There's good ideas out there, but if someone's telling you they have the 100% truth for you, I would run. And my evidence for that is that the self-help industry's been going definitely full steam since the 80s, right? Like we're talking 40, 50 years.
Yep.
Has the world changed? Like
No,
we
it's
this mass amount of people living this amazing life because they followed someone's book or teachings or nothing's changed for these people. Nothing's changed.
no, nothing at all. I mean, I think the old adage "too good to be true" is something people should put in their hat and consider. I've heard the philosophy is the hard road is the easy road, and the easy road is the hard road. And for me, that's been very, very accurate.
Yeah.
If you hear something and it triggers you or it makes you feel uncomfortable or gives you a weird feeling, in your guts, almost always that's good. But if you hear something from somebody and you're going, yeah, man, you get this emotional high, like Campbell said, you keyed up. It's like, all you got to do is believe me, and you do these three easy steps, and then life is beautiful, and then everything is fantastic, and the angels are going to come and give you a ham sandwich and take you in a golden chariot, to the promised land, and there's nothing you got to do except believe in me. It's like, come on. I mean, people want the easy answers, or they feel they need the easy answers because when you get the easy answers, you can kind of go back to your old life and kind of wait to be picked up and taken somewhere. Whereas hard work and the way to get free is hard work and it's uncomfortable and it takes effort. Campbell and I've heard so many times of people like I've tried something 3 or 4 times and I've quit, or I've read 100 books and the Secret or whatever, the Wizard of Oz, like all these strange books that supposedly, Campbell made a good point, have helped everyone be, if everyone could attract like the Secret, why hasn't the world gotten better? One of them was the conversations with God. I remember this, even the Celestine prophecies, like all of them that have promised the best world ever and the way to heaven and a beautiful way to be alive. And look what's out there. Look what's going on.
Mm.
You get the hopium, and I think the powers that be allow you the hopium because they don't care. You know, you can sit and talk with your friends. You can have discussion panels. You can get in guru groups and your weekend gatherings. And you know, the ladies can dance around trees, and the men can get into their men's group and discuss how they're going to change things. And but if you don't actually change yourself and be that person, nothing changes. Proof is all around you.
Yeah, man, you've got to be willing to put in the action, and you know that there is truth in you know most of these books and teachings, and that there's also lies or at least things you know that are put there to disempower you and lead you from your path, right? So you know, do your work, you know, get information, but ultimately it's got to come back to you. Is this good for me? Does this feel right for me? And give it a go. And the other thing I would say is the truth is simple.
Mm.
If someone is overcomplicating stuff, like you have to do this list of 20 things a day, and then you have to go and, yeah, whatever, right? Hug 12 trees and sit in the lotus position and say a mantra, and dude, they're leading you down the garden path. The truth is simple. And if someone's trying to lead you outside of yourself, that's disempowering. You know, I've said it so many times, we don't get to change other people or the outside world. It can change us, but we can't change it. You know, we can affect it by the people we are, but what we can change is the inside world, and that's where the truth is. And that's, you know, I mean, show me one person who's, you know, built a life that they love that says, oh yes, well, it was all the outside world. You know, all these other people told me what to do, and I just followed that. I mean, that these people don't exist. Everyone will tell you they've gone on their own path. They've had to go inside. They've had to discover a bit more about themselves, you know, have a bit of courage, have a bit of faith and trust, and just walk the path. And when stuff goes wrong, just see it as a challenge, as a mistake. You know, this isn't easy. And the other thing is, you know, I mean, I'm 52, and most people, you know, watching this are probably, you know, 40s to 60s, say. Like we've spent years, decades doing the wrong thing, believing the wrong thing, being programmed in the wrong. Why do we think we can change that in a day or a
Yeah.
week or three tries, right? I mean, and if you go into something saying, I'll give it three tries, you're just telling yourself, I'm not going to do this, I'm going to fail because you've given yourself an out. Like you either do it or you don't do it.
Yeah.
There is no stopping point. There is no, oh, well, this, you know, I gave it.
No.
That's you getting challenges and just saying, oh, it's too big for me. I'd much rather stay where I am. Sorry, you know, and it's all this all comes from people ourselves deluding ourselves, lying to ourselves, tricking ourselves that somehow we're just, you know, these people and it's the outside world. It's all their fault. It's someone else's fault. It's the government's fault. It's my parents' fault. It's my ex's fault. It's whatever. It's
Yeah.
not. It's all
It's
your
not.
the thing that you always have is choice. You can get as much information as you want, and it's choice. And this is it. You know, we just be autodidactic, right? If you're
Yeah.
self-educated, you don't need to worry
Yeah.
about this. Oh my God, that person's telling lies. Great, you'll work it out. Don't, and then you'll go, well, that was a, you know, that was a good lesson, right? Don't go down those paths again. So the main thing is, look, there's gurus out there. There's always been gurus out there. So many of them have been exposed over the years as just complete rip-off men, just selling, you know, opium, whatever. But you don't find too many people saying, look, it's up to you. You have to do the work. You have to make the decision. You have to become someone different because that's the truth. Like no one else, if someone else did the work for you, guess what? You're still in the same position and they get the rewards. Like simply,
It's
right?
impossible. No one can work out for you.
No.
The best and luckiest man I've seen in my life is someone who's willing to admit they've been deceiving themselves. Right? It's like not someone's been deceiving me. It's so easy. Campbell and I've done hundreds of videos and always they're lying, they're deceiving, they're being tricky with the money, they're being tricky with the weather, they're being tricky with my computer, they're being tricky with my money, they're being tricky with the politics, you know, every trick. Yeah, sure. But that's not so hard to figure out. You know, any monkey with one eye can look out at the world and see someone that's trying to be tricky. But the hardest part is to seeing, like Campbell said, how you've been deceiving yourself, because that's where the real change happens. I mean, there's some books that I love that I've literally had to read 30 or 40 times before I got the message that helped me to change myself to change my life. I spent 30 years of my life becoming an idiot, 30 hard years of nonstop effort, right? And so I've had to spend 30 hard years of nonstop effort to undo that. Literally, I had to put the same effort in to undo the nonsense I accepted, to unaccept myself. Some of these things I tried 5,000 times before they started to work. Some just happened literally a couple of days ago. I go, oh, I didn't know that that's what I was doing this whole time. I was saying I was actually free and I knew what I was talking about and I was being a good person because, if you imagine all of the subconscious ideas you have, all the subconscious beliefs, all the subconscious promises maybe you made yourself when you were 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that you've forgotten about. I mean, I've been living in this one house I'm leaving, and we'll do a video on that for 5 years, and things I hid in the closet from the past tenants I forgot about. I didn't know they were there. And, I just said, I don't want to deal with this. I'll just put it here. And now, of course, I'm leaving. I have to take it out and deal with it 5 years later. But literally, it was gone from my consciousness until a few days ago. So the reason I'm mentioning that is that told me even something as small as, let's say, putting a dirty microwave away, which is what I did. I'll talk about something specific. I don't use microwaves. It was included in the house. I hid it. I took it out. It's still stinky from the past tenants. Now I've got to go clean it. And the reason I'm sharing this story is what have you hidden from yourself? People go, oh, I remember my whole life or this. Forget about it. When you're 50, 60, 40, there's so many stuffs you've probably compartmentalized by now. So many things you hid when you were 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 that are still influencing you, right? They're still, sabotaging, your good life, and so that's kind of what Campbell and I mean, where these gurus can't go in and clean your ass for you, right? Ass cleaning, forget it. You've got to like go back, unpack your entire life. This is all in my opinion, and see where you've hidden your dirty garbage, where you've hidden your dirty promises, where you've hidden your dirty beliefs, if you like, that aren't helping you by your own. And this is all by your own admission of what's not helping you now. Nobody else can tell you, as Campbell said, where you need to go, what you need to do, or how you need to get there. This is all you talking to you, but it's not going to work unless you see how you've deceived yourself, on purpose or not, or when you were two or 222 or not. Doesn't matter how old you were. Well, I was just a baby. It doesn't matter. Yes, it does. My mother was an a-hole. My father was a drunk. And so they gave me all this stuff. So it's not my fault. Yes, it is, you know, because that was then. You're an adult now. Let's say probably most people listening to this are adults, and only you have got your own two hands, if you have two hands, to grab your life and move it forward by your own efforts. No one can do that except you.
Yeah, man. Life's an inner game, right? The way out is in, all these things. So you already have everything you need, right? And when you want to change things and bring out some of that stuff, you're going to get challenges. And this is just life showing you what you need to get rid of, right? These hidden memories and things that actually are in our subconscious, these belief systems that are controlling us. You just get shown them. I want this. The universe goes, great. You need to fix this first because, or else, you're not whatever you want to say, not in the right energy vibration, or you don't have the right, viewpoint on life or whatever, right? But there's something you're missing, something you need to change. So here it is. I'm giving it straight to you. And most people see that as, oh my God, okay, I'm giving up. That's too hard. Look, this doesn't work. That's because you stopped and you gave up. If you went through that obstacle and learned more about yourself, you would clear that and you could keep going. I mean, I've heard so many people say, "Oh, I've tried this and I've tried that and it just doesn't work." Well, when I hear that, I spot straight away what their self-talk is. Their self-talk is,
Yeah.
it doesn't work, right? So your conscious mind might get all excited, and like, I'm going to change the world and I'm going to, but what's in your subconscious mind is going to trump that every time. If your
Uh,
subconscious mind is, I can't do this. The world is hard. Oh my God, it's a prison planet. This person controls me. Why am I different? Why am I special? Why would I be out? If that's your thought system in your subconscious, that's going to hold you back. And so that's why when you ask for something more and you go for it, bing, up it comes. If you deal with it and go through that and get rid of that programming, then you will go forward. But I hear it all the time, it just doesn't work. That's the program. Listen to your self-talk. What are you actually saying to yourself? Do you really believe that you can do this stuff, or is it just, that you've been hyped up because you read a book or went to an event or something? Like you've got to bring it back to yourself and be realistic. And that's why we don't like to be hypey. We could sit here and probably, get tens of thousands of views if we just told people it was so easy and all you have to
So
do
easy.
X, Y, Z and your life will change. I mean, I see these videos all the time and some of them are so dumb. Some of them are like, watch this video and you'll have $200,000 in the next week. And this is literally the kind of titles that these people put up. And I look at the views.
I've got a million views or something. Yeah.
Yeah, hundreds of thousands of views because that's what people want to hear. They want to hear, oh, I don't have to do anything. I just have to watch this video and everything will change. I mean, this is what people think. You need to really go inside and think about these things. And I mean, that's just it. The power is yours, but it's not yours if you give it away.
Always, when you want to do something new, the world is going to show you how you haven't done it yet so
Yes.
that you can clean that. Oh, it's like saying, I want to put on new shoes without without willing to take off your old pair of shoes. Imagine how that's going to go. I need new shiny shoes, but I'm not taking these shoes off. And I'm not taking the shoes off I put on 4 years ago either. And I'm also not taking the shoes off I put on when I was a baby. And you're wearing 100 pairs and then I don't know why I'm walking funny. I don't get like why why am I walking so far? I don't know. I'm like I've got these shiny new shoes and I'm still walking funny. Must be the shoes' fault. you know, it doesn't work. You have to change, right? You have to change your clothes. You have to change your shoes. You have to change your pants. You have to change your diaper if you're wearing a diaper. Whatever. You got to change your attitude because you've put this suit of beliefs and ideas like we're energy first. I think maybe that's another way of looking at what Campbell said. So if your belief is you're not going to do it, your energy is going to hear that and you're going to make that, and that's what's going to come back to you as your reality. So if you want to change, first you're going to see how you didn't do it, which is why the Toltecs talk about harshness and transformation as being from God or spirit or Buddha or from the real way. Harshness and then transformation. If you get something too sweet, that's where you get the cavities, right? It's like you need some harshness. You need to see where you've messed up, and then from there you can see where you can go forward. But always, for me, I can say, and I'm cleaning out my house now, and I'm cleaning out 5 years of stuff, and oh, the challenges. Almost every day I want to get up and start crying and say, this is too hard. I don't know why I didn't stay. The food is so nice. The weather's all right. What am I doing? But, I tell you, I'm taking one step and then I'm taking another step and then I'm taking another step. Campbell and I talked about our event. We'll plug it now, April 5th and 6th in Clarksville, Florida. We'll leave the links below. I just got a whole bunch of links from the lovely lady that's going to host us there, for places you can stay. I didn't know I was going until a month before we did the event. I didn't know where I was landing until yesterday. I bought the ticket. I said, I need a ticket. I'll get one there. We'll see what happens. I didn't know how I was getting to the land. I didn't know where I was staying. And then she said, oh, you're coming. I'll pick you up. I know you're coming. You can stay in the RV. And I'm so looking forward to meeting you, right? Oh, you're coming. And, there's another lady, Campbell and I did an event with it, said she was coming in her RV. She's looking forward to meeting us. And all of this is coming because we made the choice. And then the challenges came. And then I got over the challenges. And then it got better. you know,
Yeah.
Nobody called me and said, Lorenzo, there's an event for you. We're going to fly you in. We're going to put you up in the Hilton in the 5-star hotel. We're going to pay for all your food, and you're getting a back massage for the 3 days you're there. And we're going to pay you $10,000, for doing it. Of course, anybody would do an event like that. But no, we chose, and it's been a slog and a half to even get things rolling. I mean, even Campbell doesn't have a ticket. We don't know anything yet, but it's just something, honestly, but we've just decided, seems like it's time to meet and to share. And we're going to be sharing this very thing, which is why I brought it up. There are no gurus, there are no easy paths that I found yet, but it's so possible and so doable to gain your own superpowers, to figure out your own matrix manipulation manual, to get everything you've always thought possible, but didn't know how to get there if you're willing to accept the responsibility of doing it for yourself.
Mm. Yeah, yeah, that's the thing. We're on this journey with you. We don't think we're better than anyone. We definitely do not want to be gurus, and don't claim to be. But the thing is, as far as me, you've probably all heard my story. Like 4 years ago, I had a job, man. I had a 9 to 5. I was literally almost having punch ups with my manager. Like it was that bad. And now that's just a distant memory. I can't even imagine what that life was like. I'm free. I've traveled lots. I've met amazing people. It's just completely different, right? And it hasn't been easy, right? I've literally moved state, right? I've moved, all my family's on the other side of the country. I've moved away. I've given away all my stuff pretty much. You got to travel light. Like I've had to get rid of those things that possess me, right? Those possessions. And I just put myself out there and go and see what happens, right? And it keeps getting better. That doesn't mean it's easy. And this whole, journey, it's a ladder. You can't jump to the top rung. You can't be sitting, in a place where everything's failing, you don't have money, your relationships are falling apart, your health is going down the tube, and you suddenly are like, well, next month I'm going to be super fit and have abs and have the most amazing partner and I'm going to have $1 million in the bank. That's being silly. That's being silly. That you can have that as a goal, but in a month, come on, let's be true because when you want change, it's you that has to change. If you refuse to change yourself, then you're refusing change. You're just saying, I'm gonna stay where I am. I like my stuff. I like my belief systems. And if you're gonna hold on to them, well, they're gonna hold on to you as well, right? You're not gonna go forward. And yes, we're doing a live event. And yes, we're charging for the tickets. Guess why? It costs money to put on these events, guys.
I know.
Like it's not free. Like so many people are like, why isn't it free? Well, I'll tell you what. How about you go to work for the next month and tell your boss, look, I don't want to be paid this month. I
Yeah.
don't want to be paid. I don't have, I just want to let my bills, whatever, accumulate. I don't care about feeding myself and my family or having a house to live in. So I'm gonna work for free. Because I hear this stuff all the time. It should be free, but every one of these people is going to work and asking for money for their boss.
I mean, they're not considering it's costing, $3,000, let's say, for Campbell to fly round trip from Australia to where the event is in Florida. I'm
Mm.
in Japan, it cost me $3,000 round trip too for people, and that doesn't count any of the other costs. So if you think of putting on an event like this and you think of the tens of thousands it could cost, might cost us less because people are helping us, no doubt. And then people go, "How dare you charge 300? How dare?" Like it's like, what are people thinking?
People just they don't
Like you go to a
understand.
concert, you're gonna go, how dare the Rolling Stones are charging me $300 for a ticket? It
Yeah,
should
I
be
know.
free. They're singing about love. Why aren't people protesting at the gates? Like this should all be free. No, they go, oh, no, I'll pay the money, no problem. I really want to see them. Or go to a hockey game and spend a couple hundred. It should be free. It's a public sport. It's the national sport of Canada. Why aren't they charging? Why aren't they letting us in? It's like it's not the point. And it's funny that people are willing to pay to be entertained, literally to be contained in their nonsense, but they're not willing to pony up a lot or even a little bit for their own evolutionary worth, for their own superhero. Like, what are your superpowers worth? What is your freedom? This stuff is priceless.
Well,
Literally, you can't even put a dollar amount on it. And whatever gets charged, you should be offering us to pay more. To be honest, you should go, that's too cheap. It's worth thousands and thousands. It's just boggles my mind. And it
mm,
also shows people, I think, the self-deception inside, which is interesting because this talk is on, gurus and false guides and false gurus and all that. You got to really develop the God within, the power within yourself, your own navigational system to figure out that you can do it, but only if you decide it's possible. And also, one thing Campbell mentioned, and I will too, you really got to be willing to give up everything. If you want to be a completely new, you got to be willing to completely give up the old.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah, you can't take the old self with you into a new world. I mean, that doesn't even make sense. Just,
no.
And this is
all
something
of them.
people don't do is they don't contemplate these things. They just kind of believe that what's on the outside world. And, how much do you value yourself?
Mm,
Are you worth the change? Are you worth $100? Like, because this is serious. Like if you really want to change your circumstances, you're really after some information, some techniques, and just some good discussion so that you can get some revelations, right? And that's not your life isn't worth a couple of $100 to change it. Well, you don't value yourself, so you've probably got different, bigger issues where you want to start. Like me myself. I mean, I don't even know how much I've spent on this kind of stuff over the years, but it's definitely in the tens of thousands, if not over 100. Like in the last, my whole life, right? I've been doing this stuff my whole life, and I've done courses, for 5 grand for the weekend. I've done all, because I'm worth it, right? Of course I'm worth it. And so that's where my value lies. So that's one thing. If this is all, way too expensive for what? Like you're not valuing yourself. But the other thing, like Lorenzo said, is how much money do we waste? How much money sit there and go, oh my God, how dare, that they charge money and they're paying for Netflix every month. You're prepared to pay so you can sit on the couch, but you're not prepared to change. And that really should give you a big message. And that is, are you really prepared to change? Do you really want change, or are you kidding yourself? Because unless you get over that, that's your first challenge. If you
really is.
can't get over that, then you're not going anywhere. All right. We need to get real here. And I think, the best way to do this is to share ideas, right? And the only reason I talk about this is my life has changed so dramatically. Like it's so much better now. I don't like the thought of having to wake up to an alarm and go to work just like it's something that will never ever again happen in my life. It's just that's in the past, and I've dealt with all that stuff. It's gone, right? My life is I do what I want when I want. I have no time restrictions. I get to travel. I get to meet amazing people. I get all this stuff. But was it easy? No, and of course it wasn't easy. And I'm actually writing a book at the moment of my life, so you can read the whole story soon, right? It'll be there because obviously on videos, Lorenzo and I, we don't tell you every detail of our life. You
No,
don't. We may look like you see these videos and you might think, oh my God, it's so easy for them, or it's look like once you read my story, especially what's gone on in the last 4 years, it's been a roller coaster. You all know about my arm, right? And I know many people would have laid down and cried about that. Poor little me. Oh my God. And that's fair, but I decided not to. And I got through that. And seriously, many other things that have come up in the last 4 years, let alone the rest of my life. But it's how you deal with these things. You always have choice. And the choice is stay where you are and complain about it, or change who you are and go somewhere different.
I gave up a $400,000 a year job, quite literally, when I was 30 to go searching for what I needed to do. So it's not almost or always what Campbell said, where you're spending, because it's also what you're giving up for your change, for your value. I mean, I've traveled around the world for 3 decades. I've gone to so many places, guru guides, hippie communities, up mountains, Way Coyote, one of the first hippie communities in Mexico. I went there. I went to so many through BC and other parts of Canada and through the United States. I've met, golden shoes and rich people and poor people, all with the answers, just so I can see myself through these travels, what and who I was, right? By putting myself out there and giving up what I gave up and going towards what I wanted to give up, which is an understanding of myself. I went through, like Campbell said, I bathed in cold rivers. I've eaten beans for weeks on end. I haven't shared my full story either. I've hurt myself. I've drank too much. I smoked too much. Whatever. I fell down. I fell off mountains. I've lost friends. I've gained friends. I've had girlfriends. I've lost girlfriends. And like it's endless. The stresses and struggles and craziness I've gone through just to get to a point where I'm going, wait a minute, I'm doing this all to myself. I made myself rich when I was 30. I can make myself rich again now. Like, I'm actually going back to Toronto where I was born in a few days, where this all happened, where I was a stockbroker, facing my family again, who I never really wanted to see, but I'm going to anyways. And all of that I gave up years ago just so I can face myself and see the uncomfortableness, see how it all began, where it all began, who I was when I began. It's like literally, in order to make your life different, that has to be your life goal. There's a thing in Japanese called ikigai, means life purpose, why you get up every day. Like Campbell said, you can't say my life goal is to be rich, but I'll try this a little bit on the side. 100% or nothing. It's like all in or all out. It
Yeah.
doesn't, if you don't want, you can't move to the other side of the country and leave your feet behind. As an example, right? You're all
No.
of you is going, or none of you is going. If you're going on a trip, right? You're not going, well, my legs are tired. I'll leave, I'll take the rest of me and I'll come back for them later. Ain't going to happen, as you know. So that's just a pleasant or unpleasant, energetic way of looking at the fact that what has to change is you if you want to change you.
Yeah.
And you have to see how you've lied to yourself, because if you're sitting in a life right now, and this is by your own estimations of something you're not happy with, whatever it is, health, relationships, children, mothers, fathers, government, chemtrails, bad water, bad medical, false gurus, so many of those I heard about even recently. You have to say, why did I ask for this experience?
Mm. It is, and it's your choice. This is the thing, you always get choice. If you're happy sitting on the couch and complaining that you want things to change and but you don't really, then that's your choice. But if you're serious, if you really are serious about changing things, you've got to get serious and change things. It's that simple. And when we talk about things in simple terms, it's just, oh my God, it is so simple. Like talking other things sounds stupid, right? Like if you refuse to change, you can't have change. Hello. And
Hello.
and if you're looking outside you, for someone else to change you, the only change that's going to occur is they're going to change. You don't get something without effort, and if you refuse to take off, the old smelly shoes before you put on new ones, you're just going to end up with clown feet,
Yeah.
right? You're going to end up with these big shoes and everyone's going to call you a clown. So this is the main thing. Like, how serious are you? Like, are you really serious? Because if you've been trying this stuff and trying to change and you keep getting, results that you don't want, or no results, you need to look at yourself. Stop looking outside for someone else. Oh, that guy was wrong, so I'm going to find someone else outside of me and he's going to be right. Oh, well, he was wrong. So now I found a woman and she's going to be right. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's the world telling you that the outside world ain't going to change you. Like, well, it's not going to come in and give you the best life you want and change everything and make it easy, right? It'll
No.
give you challenges, it'll give you things to think about, but it's not going to live your life for you because, again, if it does that, then you're taken out of the equation. It's no longer your life. So,
Mm-hmm.
are you serious is really the question. Because people who follow gurus and are just looking for someone else to give them the answer, they're not serious. They're not. That they just want something handed to them on a plate, right? And oh, that's all I have to do is eat this sugar cube, and then suddenly I'm going, the house around me will transform into a mansion. It's like The Secret, right? Just sit on your couch in the lotus position and imagine $1 million turning up at your doorstep. I mean, come on.
Come
People
on. Yeah.
do stuff, but give me one piece of evidence that anything like that has ever happened. And people will go, the lottery, people win the lottery. Yes, they do. And it's been proven that over 95% of those people end up in a much worse financial position than they started in within 5 years. Why? Because they did not change here. They've got all this money and their subconscious programming is telling them, I'm poor, I can't have this, blah, blah, blah. Money's hard, money's hard. Only bad people have money. That's a good one,
Yeah.
right? So if you're not a bad person, you don't get to keep the money because of that belief system. But this is why, because they haven't done the work, right? That's why they lose the money. And it happens all the time.
All the time. I mean, I was the kind of person that wanted to change, sit on my couch. What did I do? I'm sitting on the floor now. I got rid of my couch. Like literally I was comfortable in my old life. I went and I had to admit to myself, Did I really want to change? I was talking about it. I was doing videos about it. I was seeing about it. I was wondering why I wasn't getting exactly where I wanted to be until my wife literally said, well, Lorenzo, you're being a lazy ass. It's time to change. In her, she didn't say it that way because she's not
You
so
know,
cruel or crude. That's me. She's going, it's time for us to get on that adventure and see how we're going to change our life by changing our life. And then, hold on, see, I don't know if you can see, I'm sitting on the floor down here.
oh, yeah.
Literally, it was one of the hardest things I had to do is get rid of my comfortable couch. I go, oh my goodness, I love that couch, but doesn't matter. I had to change, which right now is working out to be the best thing possible. I can see that.
You have to give up the old to get the new. It's really that simple. So it all comes down to, really a question of how serious are you? Do you just want to feel good, like reading these books and going, "Oh, it's possible," but you've got this background programming going, "But not for me, but not for me."
Mm,
And this is a self-help industry. It gets people into these mindsets, G's them up, where they're like, everything's happening, it's all amazing, but nothing's changed in their physical world, and it doesn't. Why? Because it's not their answer. So all this stuff is good, but it's just there for you to consider, go through it. Take whatever works for you out of it, because whatever works for you doesn't necessarily work for anyone else. You're looking for your own story. You're looking to create your own rule book, right? And I've said it before, life, where's the rule book? Why don't we get a rule book? Well, I think the truth is it's out there, but we have to put it together because every
correct.
rule book is different. So get out there and listen to these people, but don't follow them. And 100, oh, well, he said this, so that's 100% the truth. For him or her, sure, it might be, but doesn't mean it is for you. So get out there, get information, and write your own rule book. And that's what we want to do is get discussion, see where people are, see where they've succeeded, see where they've failed. Give new ideas for people to work on. And if you have a new idea, then you're going to get a new result. If you can change what you think, you're going to change what you create. To me, it's really that simple. But most people aren't willing to go there. They love to fantasize that they are willing to go there, but when it comes down to the crunch, they're not. They're
Yeah.
full of big buts. Oh, I could do that, but I need to pay
Yes.
my mortgage. But what if this happens? But my
But
parents told me I was a failure. But get rid of your big butt, man. Like it,
and change does not happen with words, does not happen with ideas, it does not happen with imagination. It could start, but it has to follow with actions. It's non-negotiable. I don't want to tell anyone what to do, but if you don't act different, you can't be different. Right? Literally, I slept on the floor yesterday because I moved our futon. Like literally, I'm acting and getting rid of everything by getting rid of everything. And I'm learning things every day that I didn't know I was going to learn, even though I've done 1,000 of these videos about learning and changing with Campbell and other people. But it's through the actions of getting rid of everything that I'm learning new things, literally, that I didn't or couldn't have even imagined. So it's in the action that you learn. You can't learn to ride a bike by sitting around and watching other people ride bikes, right? By imagining what it's like to ride a bike. But like when you were a kid, did you just want to watch people ride a bike? Did you just want to talk to other people about riding a bike? Did you say, I'd like to ride a bike, but I can't, and give yourself reasons and say, no, you said, get me a bike. Doesn't matter, I fall down. I'd like that bike. And you went out and did it, and you fell down. And I flew over the handlebars more times than I can remember right now. Until I learned how to fell down, scrape my knees, bang my head before they didn't have helmets back in the ancient days, right? And I'm still here,
yeah,
but I
man.
had to do it.
Kids just do it, right? Watch kids if you want inspiration. They don't,
Yeah,
they don't give up. They just want to do it because they want the result. They don't care about the knocks and bruises. And as we get older, we kind of lose that. So,
mm,
get back there, right? Like understand it's a journey. And you have your answers. No one else has your answers, and you don't have the answers for anyone else,
mm,
right? We can, we might have things that influence them and that can help them, but we don't have the whole story. So, what is your story? What do you want it to be? Create your own rule book. I think that
Matrix manipulation guide. That's the takeaway from the event we're doing. Since Campbell mentioned that April 5th and 6th in Clarksville. Details below. We have a Powering Through the Old World walk on April 7th, a standalone event one day. That's on the Monday. that we're doing that. So April says, so 5, 6, and 7, come join us. You see all the information. If you want to be there, we're happy to help figure it out for you. And what Campbell said and what I've said and what we've seen is you can work through discussing with other people what can work for you, and your takeaway is that guide of change you've always wanted. And the trick, like Campbell said, though, is it is out there. I agree with him very much, but you have to find out how the out there becomes in here. And then you put those two together, you're outside and inside, and you find out for yourself how you can manipulate your own matrix, and then how you can guide yourself to the heavenly life you've always wanted. And keep in mind, it's going to be probably different than you thought it was. My way of seeing it is it's something I never knew I always wanted. My wife is like that. I didn't expect for a million years this would be, a small town in Japan. I married a lady like that. It's like, forget about it. I didn't imagine that. But on the other hand, as I'm going through time, through challenges, through the horrible times to the better times, I'm going, this is why Spirit set me up in this situation. This is why Spirit gave me this, because things are coming that I didn't imagine, I didn't know, because it was my unknown. Like Campbell said, sit for a moment and understand if it's an unknown part of your life, it by definition, it has to be something you don't know about yet.
Totally, totally, man. We can have dreams, but it's never going to turn out exactly the way we thought, right?
It'll
Ever.
usually be better or harder.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Always better, man. The universe, God, whatever you want to call it, always has much better ideas than we do, right?
I would
So
agree.
enjoy the journey. So there you go, guys. If you want to come, spend some time with us, have a talk, share ideas, not being spoken to, but let's have conversations and come and join us. You'll find all the links below. We also have a locals community where you can join. There's free content there. There's also paid content. That's right. Yes. We
Big one.
actually have to work too, right? We have bills. So there is a paid section there where it's going to just be basically more contact with us, Zooms and things like this. And the event, or come and join us for a walk around some old Tartarian buildings. We'll have conversation, check it all out, and you'll find all the details and links below.
Well, next time I talk to you guys, I won't be in Japan. I'll see you on the other side as I'm doing my journey. Going there, I'll have more stories to share with you. And if you're in Florida, because Campbell and I, like we said, we don't want to bleed for entertainment purposes, which is what a lot of people want. But I'm happy to share the harder things, the crazier things, the dirty details face to face. Because if you make the effort to come see us, then it's worth me opening up more of my life and sharing with you the hard tacks of how I got from there to here. And my wife's going to be there as a lady. She'll be able to share from a woman's perspective how she's changed herself quite a bit as well. So for all you ladies out there, won't be just two men. There'll be some other people. And her tablet just went on as an agreement. Magic is all around us, I've noticed. Right. So that's the other part of what we're going to share. Your matrix manipulation manual. It's also part about how you can develop your own magic. And I don't mean new age magic, but I mean through your own energetic efforts. You can learn to manipulate your own reality. And that can be a wonderful thing. And it can give you everything you always or never knew you always wanted. And I'd be so happy to see you there and help you with it.
Indeed, you got to do something different to get something different. So all links below, guys. We'd love to see you, in our locals, at our event, at our walk around, whichever you would rather. Please come and join us, and let's have better discussions and get better results. All right.
See you
Thanks
on
for
the other
joining
side.
us. Leave us comments. No silly ones this time, please. Real
Hmm.
comments. Give us like, share this around, check out the links, and we'll talk to you all on the next upload. Bye for now.